Okay, so once again, welcome everyone. Monday webinar time. Let's have a look at some of the trade setups that we are keeping an eye on. Remember, if you'd like, for anybody that is not currently a member of the trade group, if you'd like to get the more specific short-term trade details and things that we're going to be looking at, you can go to daytradersfx.com/join and get a free trial to the week here. And you can kind of see how we do the short-term and kind of medium-term trades and how we handle exact entries and exits and so on. Okay, so a quick look. We don't have a ton of massive news this week, which is kind of nice. Means I might be able to sleep at night, which will be okay. We have seen a little bit of news thus far from, we've seen some Bank of Canada news, a little bit of RBA news, which was at kind of a crazy time here. And then our next bit of news coming up is Australian monetary policy minutes, which will be in a couple of hours. Tuesday, nothing too crazy. German zoo stuff is, can move the euro pairs a little bit, which will be good. We'll talk about what we're going to do with the euro. Some Canadian and again some Australian numbers. Wednesday, nothing too exciting. Thursday, just kind of some good old get the markets moving. I love retail sales for the UK. Great mover for the pound pairs. So we'll have some live event for a couple of these news announcements this week, and then Friday we've got a little bit of news, some durable goods for the U.S., some more Canadian news, and so on. So it's not a super crazy week, but it should be enough to get things going. This time of year is where I specifically focus on what I call, and you guys have probably heard me refer to many times, the pre-summer movement. The pre-summer movement is just when we get that kind of April, May time of year going and markets really rush into kind of that last move before they consolidate a little bit during the summer. And so we're right at that time where we should see things start to move pretty well and make some pretty definitive movements. So let's be ready for that. I'm going to be heavily focused over the next probably several weeks on dollar pairs. That's typically where we get some really excellent pre-summer movements, and so I'm going to be really looking at just a couple of specific pairs. We always keep our eye on some of the others. We'll be looking at EURUSD from time to time, and some of the pound pairs, pound New Zealand, and so on. But really, most of the movement is going to happen in dollar pairs. Is anybody having audio issues besides Kevin? Is the audio coming through well for everyone else? Okay. Okay, there we go. All right, so moving on. What we want to look for here is on this euro dollar. I'm looking for kind of a couple of specific levels. I'm looking for the euro dollar to move up into 110 area, and then to ultimately move up into the 113 area. 113 is 23% fib of this big move down. It's a missed monthly and daily pivot. It's a nice resistance level. It's a lot of good things. So 11300 should be a good little spot. 110 is going to be kind of our first major target, and then from there we'll be looking at 113. The euro is currently in a nice little downward channel. My breaking point for the euro to just continue lower is 10700. If the euro gets below 10700, then it actually may not be making a break up, or it might make a break higher, at a later date. But if it can hold 10700, now I'm looking for a clean break of 10700. If it just kind of chops around here a little bit, then I'm going to look at that as still holding, and we'll even be looking to buy off of 10700. But if it really starts to move below 10700, and it gives us a clean breakout, it may offer a nice selling opportunity, and it may kind of invalidate this move higher that I'm ultimately looking for. We have pressure on the euro with Greece and the possible Greece situations that are coming, so we have to keep an eye on that. There's definitely some political issues with the euro that could ultimately drive it down. So 10700 is a good breaking point. Below that, we're probably going to be short euro. If that holds decently well, then I'll look for definitely staying long. But we're going to be very, very cautious with this. Ultimately, I'd like to see a break of these highs and a real nice clean move out of this channel, and that would put us at about 108.50. 108.50 and beyond should be a clean move into the 110.50 and 11300. So you can see, not to be totally unimaginative, but 108.50 is just simply the high right here of the week. It happens to be the test of the 200 moving average and a couple of other important levels. So a nice move above 108.50 is really going to be our huge bullish signal to trade this up into 110.50, which is a nice 200 pips, and then beyond into 11300. But again, a lot is going to hinge on 10700 on the euro. So let's keep an eye on that. Let's be ready for that little movement, and it should be pretty exciting. I think there's going to be some great activity on this euro dollar this week, and ultimately I think we can get some very nice activity and nice movement up into these highs. Pound dollar is doing the same thing. Ultimately, I'm looking for the US dollar to weaken over the next several weeks. I think the US dollar can make a nice move towards correction. The US dollar has rallied against everything like crazy, and I think it's time for things to pull back against the US dollar before, you know, official interest rate news and all that stuff happens. So on the pound dollar, what I'm looking for is this nice falling wedge has broken out. We made a run at 150. It poked above 150 just a little bit by exactly 50 pips actually, and then ended up closing back down below 150. We have a nice shooting star here, pretty nice price rejection candle, and so at 150, still above 150, I'm liking it. I think this is a great opportunity. And on this pair, my breaking point on the low side is if this breaks back below 14800. We're currently at 14900, so as long as it can stay above 14800, then I'm bullish pound dollar. Just like euro dollar, if it can stay above 10700, then I'm bullish euro dollar. But a break below 10700 pretty much nullifies that short-term bullish movement that I'll be looking for. For pound dollar, it's 14800. If we stay above 14800, then I think we have a great chance of moving back up above 150, and back up above 150 is where I'll be looking to get long into about 15300 and beyond. So 15300 is going to be a great target, and even above that. But that'll be kind of the short-term movement of at least 300 pips that we'll be looking for. But again, if it breaks below 14800, then I'm going to, you know, kind of reassess. I may get short below 14800. I may do a couple of things. But if it dips down to that 14800, gives us a little bit of support, and then potentially starts heading back up from there, we may buy around 14800, and we'll definitely be long above 150. So I like the pound dollar. This is a very, very great little setup and a great mover, and I think we have some great opportunity here. I haven't looked at the Aussie dollar quite as much, but same kind of situation. Aussie dollar, I'm just simply looking for the Aussie dollar to get above 78.40.50 area, right around there, 78.40.50 zone. And if it does, I'm looking for the Aussie dollar to trade up into 80 and beyond. I think we're going to break that 80 level. If it just trades up into the 80 level, that's still 150 pips, and there's nothing wrong with that movement. But I think we can get up into the 81.50 and even potentially beyond that. So Aussie dollar above 78.40.50. This is a consolidated falling wedge. It made an attempt. It failed that attempt right there. So a break of that high should be a very strong signal that Aussie dollar will be moving up into 81.30. 50, you know, and even beyond. So watch that 78.40.50 area. I don't know what I'll do on the short side on Aussie dollar. I'm not really looking at that as a possibility at the moment because it's so choppy. If it breaks out of this channel, that should be a nice kind of opening up of the movement and really get it going from there. So that'll be a great opportunity there. So just a quick little recap. Definitely above 108.50, we're long euro dollar, and if it holds 10700, we may be buying some dips. Below 10700, we're going to switch over and go short term bearish. Pound dollar above 14800, we hold on to our bullish outlook. We're definitely long above 150, and we may buy some dips around 14800 if we see those. If it gets below 14800, then short term we go bearish on that pair as well. Aussie dollar, there's no holding level at this moment unless it gets way down below like 75.50 or whatever. But above 78.50, we want to be long Aussie dollar and holding on to that thing. So definitely a big focus on dollar pairs right now. I'm not even really looking at anything not dollar related for this pre-summer movement, because I think the dollar is typically the biggest mover for the big pre-summer push. Dollar CAD, we've had a great trade running on dollar CAD. This thing has been up and down and all over the place. We've talked about this for weeks. Those of you that have attended the Monday webinar have known that I've been waiting for the dollar CAD to break this low and get short. It's done that. For anybody that didn't get a chance to get in, I think we might see dollar CAD get back up around 123. 30, 40, 50 area, at which point I would love to get short once again. So if we get back up into the 123, 40, 50 ish zone, let's look to get short dollar CAD once again. It's not uncommon to have breakouts happen and have those breakouts retested, and we might be headed up for a little bit of a retest here. You can see the dollar CAD right now. If we get above this 122.75 area, then it's probably headed for a pretty nice little retest, which is so great. And we want to be super short dollar CAD above 12300, but ideally around 123.40, 50, and we want to trade that down into 120. 120 is going to be our target on dollar CAD. If it gets above about 12400, then at that point I'm going to be reassessing my view on things. 12400 will put us just right back inside of this channel again, pretty nicely inside of the channel, and so above 12400 I wouldn't want to be short, but around that 123.50 area I think that's a great spot, and we can give it a little bit of space. If it gets up in there, we'll just jump out of that and look for other trading opportunities. But I want to see this thing retrace probably another 100 pips and then get big time short down into 120. So dollar CAD should be great for that. Dollar yen, I love. We have some dollar yen trades in the group running. Dollar yen is struggling around 118.50 to 11900. We're just a little bit above 11900 right now, about 119.28. If dollar yen breaks 118.50, just short it for at least 300 pips. So we should be good for 300 pips below 118.50. So be ready for that. 118.50 into 115.50 should be a good little run. That's all I have to say about that. That is the trade I'm looking for. If it breaks up above this 119.50, then it's probably choppy. It's probably heading higher. It's probably doing a bunch of things. But 118.50 is the short I'm looking for on dollar yen. I think that's going to be super, super awesome. And then kind of just a last little look here. I think the New Zealand dollar's got a great chance. New Zealand dollar has recovered very nicely. We've seen a very solid double bottom here on New Zealand dollar. It's held that 71.75 area very nicely. It's crossed the 23% fib. It's dipped down. It's bounced all around. I want to be long New Zealand dollar at about 77.50 up into... we have a huge target of about 50 pips right there beyond 77.50, but I think New Zealand dollar will have a nice opportunity to make a pretty decent run up into the 80 zone, which is our 50% fib, and even potentially beyond that. So we have 250. Everything is setting up for about a 250 to 350 pip run on the dollar pairs. And when we look at euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, dollar CAD, dollar yen, we're talking about around 1,000 or more pips of movement that we should see, and we should be able to get into over the coming couple of weeks. So we want to be ready for that. So at this point, 77, 40, 50 zone is where we want to start getting long New Zealand dollar up into that 80 and so on. The rest of the pairs, I'm just not really looking at too much for now. I really think we're going to get the biggest movement on dollar pairs. Other ones could totally move, and that's great. My attention will be on dollar pairs over the next several weeks, and I think we have some really, really great opportunities on all of those pairs. So I'm going to post some charts for everybody. I'll post some the video and so on, and you guys can kind of just keep an eye on these levels and be ready to trade them. And of course, members of the group, within the group, we're going to have very specific entries, and we may get into some things earlier and some things later, and just kind of depending on how markets are moving this week. So again, if you would like to get some more information on how we're going to handle all these and how we're going to trade everything, go to daytradersfx.com /join, and we'd love to have you join us for this week and see how we're going to trade all this pre-summer movement activity. Last pre-summer movement, we cleared 800 or 900 pips in about a month-long period, and we should clear another 800 to 1,000 pips over the next 30 days with these movements as well. So it's all very exciting. There's some great movements. There will be some fantastic money to be made. So let's talk about all these, and let's be following them and trading the heck out of them and taking it all from there. Those are the setups I'm looking for this week thus far, and I think it's all going to be very wonderful and exciting and fantastic. Best of luck, everyone. Questions, comments, let me know. Let's get this video posted real quick, and I will answer anyone's questions that you guys have. Thank you a million for joining us, guys. Very, very nice to see you all. And I hope everybody has a wonderful and fantastic week of trading.